Welcome into Bleacher Talk. I'm Jordan Spurgeon alongside Claudia Collins, and we've got an awesome show today. Of course, in just a moment, we'll get to quick picks with Bruce Cooper. We're also going to make it out to Marcos de Niza High School. They got a brand new field for their first home game this Friday, so we're going to check out what's going on there. I'll maybe have some eyes in the sky as well over there at Marcus Niza. And then, of course, Eliav Gabai will bring us our social spotlight. But Claudia, it's been a great first few weeks to the season. I'm just so excited to keep talking high school football.
And I feel like we're coming into like one of the most exciting weeks in high school football. I know that you and I have, a calendar of all the games, and week 4 has stuck out as a week that's filled with games that are just rivalry, competitive. So it's going to make quick picks sure interesting, which speaking of which, we've got Bruce Cooper with us. Of course, always happy to have him. Although maybe less happy since he's always in the lead. Bruce, you were 1-2 last week, but you have the best record. You're 7-2. Spurge is in second place, 5-4. He's also 1-2 last week, and I am 3-6. I didn't get a single game right last week. So hey, it's
early.
all good. It's all good.
Totally. Like she said, she's going for that reverse psychology. Last year, got off to the races hot, now way behind, but
Yeah,
you never know when that catch up.
I tell you what, Claudia, it was definitely a tough week. I mean, it was a tough week. I mean, my goodness, there were some not only the NFL, but in the high school ranks here locally. I mean, there are some games that just had just hit spinning. So yeah, hey, it was a tough week.
It's really starting to feel like football season. Like it's full blown, like we are in it, living it full time now, which is great. I mean, yes, taking in football Thursday through Monday, practices during the week. So we're full force at Sports 360 AZ. But with that, I think it's time to get into our first pick of the game or of the week is ALA Queen Creek. ALA Queen Creek. I always have a hard time saying that. At Queen Creek. Bruce, who do you have winning that game?
Ooh, wow. I'm gonna go with ALA Queen Creek. Look, I know over at Queen Creek, Travis Sherman, I'm looking at this team, what they've done through the first 3 weeks. They're really struggling to score. I mean, they lost 13-8 to a very, very good Saguaro team, the defending Open Division champions. They scored only 13 points last week in a 39-13 loss to Pinnacle, and their only win so far over a California team, 10-7. So clearly they're struggling to put points on the board. In the meantime, just over the last 2 weeks, ALA Queen Creek has outscored its opponents 105-7, 105-7. So no question that Ty Detmer, former Heisman Trophy winner, and he has Max Hall, who was a great prep quarterback, as we all know, at Mesa Mountain View before he went on to have a great collegiate career at BYU and even played for Arizona Cardinals. So they got a lot of tutelage and knowledge of that quarterback position. And I think that's where the difference will come in this game. I'm looking for ALA Queen Creek to win by a couple scores. I mean, I'm looking at like maybe 21-7.
Spurge, you agree or disagree with our current champ?
Yeah, Coop, you pretty much said it all. Both these teams last year made the Open Division, the 7th and the 8th seed, respectively, between Queen Creek and ALA Queen Creek. But ALA and Ty Detmer, they just have it rolling on. I really like their quarterback, Drew Coward. He learned a lot last year under Logan Hugler. He already has 10 passing touchdowns so far this season. And despite how good Queen Creek's defense has been, it's one of the more physical defenses in the entire state. I just think ALA Queen Creek has enough firepower to really not let this game stay too competitive. I do think they're going to win this game. It will be at least by 10. I'm going to say they win 24-13 over Queen Creek.
Spurge, Bruce, I think we're all in agreement, but I do want to add just to kind of have a different point. I was a little bit back and forth on this because I think Queen Creek does have kind of an advantage. Even though they don't have the best record, they've had a tougher schedule to start. So maybe looking at it from that perspective, like they've been challenged, and whether or not they won, like the challenge has existed. Whereas I think ALA has had an easier schedule. So like this might be more competitive than the previous games and a closer matchup. So I think I'm going to agree with you guys, ALA Queen Creek with the win, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I'm going to just go 1 touchdown, 28-21. We'll see. I mean, hopefully we're all correct. The next matchup is Mountain View at Basha. Spurge, I'll let you take this one first.
Yeah, I can already imagine we're probably all on the same page on this one. I mean, listen, Basha is a top 3, maybe top 4, depending on where you view a couple of the other upper schools. They're in it to win it this year. A couple of huge wins already. They go out and beat Los Alamitos, and Malachi Nelson, who's a 5-star quarterback going to USC. Damon Williams went toe-to-toe with him and beat him at the end of the game, outscoring them by 3 touchdowns or more in the second half. So this offense is just electric. Last year, this game wasn't much of a contest either. And I think this year, Basha's just taken more steps forward than even Mountain View has. And I know Joe Germain is building a program that plays the right way. He's got a really good young quarterback in his son, Jack Germain. He's got a bunch of weapons, but Basha is just loaded at every skill position on offense and defense. I just think they're the more talented team. Give me Basha 35, Mountain View 17.
Okay, similar thoughts, Spurge. And once again, like you said, we'll probably be mostly on the same page. I do want to say that I think in a lot of other matchups, I would probably choose Mountain View, but not against Basha. I think this is kind of the team to watch this season, to be quite honest. They are just absolutely stacked from front to back. It's insane the number of Power 5 prospects or D1 prospects, D1 commits that are at Basha. It's kind of starting to look like that school. Like if you want to recruit, go to Basha. Like they've got talent there. You've named a few, Cole Martin being one of the obvious ones, Day Buchanan, Miles Lockhart, stacked. So they're becoming a real force. Los Alamitos and South Point, we saw how that turned out. I think that this is going to be one of the more interesting teams just overall this season to watch. So I want to give all credit as well to Mountain View, but I do think this is going to be a high scoring game for Basha, winning 49-14. So Bruce, you going to disagree with us?
I can't disagree with anything either of you have said thus far. I mean, look, you'll see on letter of intent signing day, if they don't do it in the early signing period where Bashas is loaded with D1 talent. I mean, look, they put together the first undefeated season in school history last year. I think maybe the big stage in the open division kind of got to them last year. So they're certainly coming back, certainly more determined than ever. I agree with Spurs. They're like a top 2, top 3 open division type of team this year. And look, what can you say about Damon Williams? Guy's just electric under center. I mean, he's so athletic. You talk about a dual threat quarterback. This guy is it. And so I do agree with you, Claudia. I think it'll be high scoring. I think it'll be a one-sided high scoring affair. You had 49-14. That sounds pretty good to me, but just to be a little different, I'll go 56-21.
That makes me feel pretty good, seeing as you're in first place. But I think this next matchup is the one that makes week 4 very, very interesting. It's the Open Division Championship rematch. And it has been highlighted, circled, and underscored probably in all of our calendars since the AIA released the schedule for the 2022 season. We're talking about Saguaro at Chandler. I guess I'll kick it off. I think this is going to be extremely interesting. I think this is also going to be kind of, as Arizona fans, the first opportunity to see Dylan Raiola against like some pretty good competition, seeing as they started their season in California and haven't had that like matchup that was going to be so competitive yet. I think this is going to be awesome. And I think Chandler is going to be coming into this game very hungry. The same way that Bishop Gorman went into their matchup with Hamilton is kind of how I see this playing out for Chandler. We saw what happened with Bishop Gorman in this last rematch, and I think that Chandler is just hungry for that win. And Saguaro, yeah, they had that test against Virgin Catholic. And, regardless of the result, kind of like I was saying in the previous game we were talking about, I think those tests are really great. Like I don't want to look at that Virgin Catholic matchup as a loss, because you're playing one of the top 3 teams in the nation, depending on the rankings you're looking at. But I just think the way that Chandler is going to come into this with like that sense of revenge is going to maybe be that deciding factor for Chandler. And I think they've just got a great new quarterback on display. But something tells me we are going to see this rematch again later in the season. Probably, maybe, possibly another open division state championship rematch. But I'm going to take the last open division state championship score and flip it. So I'm going to take Chandler winning 20-15. Spurs, I'll go to you.
Yeah, I mean, I know when we got to the Open Division title game last year, we all picked Saguaro and we were all right. This time around, Chandler's in the better position at this far. I want to give Saguaro their props first. I know Coach Mons may see this, and I know what he's doing, and he's going to have this team ready if they were to face again. Like I think if they see each other down the line, it's very possible Saguaro could have the upper hand by then. But they have some really young cats on the defensive line and on the offensive line. We've already seen what that happens with another powerhouse. I got to see it firsthand when they went up against Cathedral Catholic. They're not at the same level as a Saguaro, but in talking to people around that team, the lines were young. And so Chandler had their way. From the first drive of the game, they got whatever they wanted. And I just feel like right now with where the mold is on Saguaro's lines, I know they'll probably use this as fuel too, but with where they're at, I just think Chandler's in a better position in those spots at this point in the season. And because of how Dylan Raiola is playing so far, I really think that they're going to win this game somewhere in the ballpark of 28-14. I think Devin Dampier is going to have 2 touchdowns by himself because that's kind of what they have on offense. They have a bunch of skill position guys, but when he goes into takeover mode, there's no one better than him, especially in the ground game at quarterback. And I think he'll get some damage against Chandler, but give me Chandler over Saguaro this time of the year.
Yeah, I have to agree. This time of the year makes a difference. I think this conversation could potentially be different if it was like week 8. But Bruce, it's your opportunity to either kind of change the spread here. You know, you could have been going Chandler. Maybe it's time to choose Saguaro. We'll see. What do you think?
Well, you guys are both absolutely correct. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, these two teams are loaded and stacked with D1 talent. I think the difference last year was at the quarterback position. We saw Devin Dampier, a transfer from Pinnacle, had to sit out the first half, but he was clearly the difference in last year's championship game. They just had no answer for him. Well, I don't think that Saguaro has that advantage at the quarterback position now with, as you guys talked about, Dylan Raiola under center. And one thing that you should keep in mind, I don't care if it was Day Hunter, it was TJ Green, Drake Anderson, Chandler's always had a superlative running back. That way they can balance the offense. Last year that running game was missing. Well, we know what Khalil Valentine is doing. I mean, this dude is special. He's special. He's going to be a D1 talent. I think he's only a junior, too. So, look, I just think that anytime Chandler can run the ball and they have a stud quarterback, they're tough to beat because they have speed at every position. And so I think that this will be the fact that Chandler can run the ball this year, and the fact that they have an elite quarterback in Raiola. I just don't see how Saguaro can win this game. I see Chandler as that New Jersey team that Saguaro played earlier this year. So I'm going to take that same score. Chandler 28, Saguaro 7. I just think that Chandler's just that head and shoulder above everyone right now.
This might be the first time in Bleacher Talk Quick Picks history that we have been in full agreement on every game. So we're either going to be all extremely happy going into next week, but not much will have really changed in the scoring, or we're all going to be like, what were we thinking? So we'll just have to see how it all plays out. Bruce, thank you so much. As always, we love having you on Quick Picks. Stick with us when we come back. We'll be at Marcos de Niza High School.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Bleacher Talk. I'm Claudia Collins alongside Jordan Spurgeon and Mason and Brayson. Love that it rhymes. We're at Marcos de Niza High School learning all things about your football program. But for starters, I heard that you were voted by your teammates to do this interview. So why do you think you guys were the chosen ones?
I feel like as a quarterback, it's almost certain to be a leader as a team, and I feel like the guys, they rally around me, and they'd want me to be in the spotlight.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Being like one of the defensive leaders, everybody just chose me to be the guy. So, yeah.
Mason and Brayson were voted by their teammates to do their interview, which I thought was an awesome idea as a coach to kind of put it on the team. What could you say about these two guys? Why do you think they were chosen?
They're leaders. You know, it's one thing to appoint a leader. It's another thing to just have leaders that are willing to lead and go above and beyond. We talk about being of the group but above the group in a way where they're holding everyone to a standard, and that's what we talk about. We have one rule, and that's don't hurt the team, but the others, we just follow standards and values, and so they are examples of those standards and values that we work toward.
And now with that too, so you are 3-0 on the road. You guys are going to have your home opener this Friday, brand new field. How excited are you guys to just be able to debut this new field that's been getting worked on for a while?
Me personally, I'm so excited because, I mean, all 4 years I've been here, I've never started out 3-0, and I've never been able to. I feel like this year, our home opener, there's going to be a lot of fans there, new turf. It's just a whole new environment, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, definitely with that.
Is there a lot of excitement just even outside of the football team about the game this week? I mean, new field, like 3-0, that's big. So is this something you're hearing around the school?
Yeah, I'll have people come up to me talking about how they want us to do well and how they're going to come out to the game. So definitely.
So, Coach, your team's off to a great start, 3-0, all games on the road. Now you get a home game, but it's not just any home game. It's a brand new field as well. What are you looking forward, and what do you expect to see out of these guys for the home opener?
I just expect them to do what they do. They've been conditioned, they've been trained to do what they do. They've been doing it for the last 3 games. We've been road warriors. They fought tough on hostile environments the last 3 weeks, and it's just nice to come home and play in front of our home fans, in front of our community. They've been excited about it. They deserve it, and we're just ready to go.
All right, so far 3-0. I'm curious, who are some of the guys, maybe younger guys, that have like made a big impact that maybe you guys didn't see that coming, but 3-0, good start. Who's standing out?
I'd say the line play. The line, most of those guys have stepped up. Only maybe 1 or 2 of them were here last year playing in significant roles. So those guys have stepped up big. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that definitely the O-line, because mostly every other position group is filled with seniors. So the O-line is probably the youngest core, and they've definitely stepped it up a lot this year and improved.
For the people on the outside too, what's something they should know about this team? We all know the 3-0 start now, but what is it about this team that makes it different than other teams you've played on here so far?
I'd just say our brotherhood, how close everybody is. A lot of guys have been with each other for 4 years. Everybody's like super close-knit, and just how tough we work and how gritty we are.
So how have you kind of seen like the school just develop, like weight room, new field, and also just like where it's come since you were a player here?
It's come a long way. I graduated in 2003, and we had a very strong tradition of winning, and that's something that I really wanted to focus on and look back at what we had as a class, and it was that bond, it was that the team just coming together and having each other's backs. But as far as the facilities and everything like that, it's great. Standing in a weight room right now that holds up to 20 squat racks and brand new turf field, and we're getting turf in the weight room here shortly. So these guys have worked for it, they deserve it, so it's exciting to see the benefits of all of that.
Do you have this like extra desire for this program to succeed just because like you're a part of its history?
Yeah, there's absolutely no way to measure that. For me, it means everything to me to be here, to coach these guys, to be part of this community again, and then eventually, today, with our goal, we talk about it every single day, is to raise that gold trophy. So it'd mean nothing more to me, just to be able to do that for this school.
And for you too, you're 3 games in, you spent obviously the whole offseason with this team. What is it about the 2022 team that really stands out to you and is maybe different from other teams?
They're a band of brothers. They really are. They have each other's backs. They eat lunch with me every day. We go out for breakfast on Saturdays. They're in here working out 6:45 every morning. They're on their group threads. It's them coming together. It's all of them.
Who's smashed
Saturday breakfast spot?
We've changed it up. We've hit up a Denny's, we hit up a Salazar's. It just depends on what the mood is. Usually now that we're in season, we have food that's provided from our booster club during film and stuff like that. So we just look for every opportunity we can to come together, because just one more thing that they are doing together as a group.
doubling down on the offensive line too. They were talking about just, you know, the work specifically in the weight room this offseason. They saw numbers go up exponentially. I imagine they were putting up some big numbers. But what was it like in the atmosphere in the weight room? I know you still train during the season a little bit, but with the music and just the way they're getting after it, like what's the environment like during a workout?
It's high energy, you know. For these guys, it's really cool because, you know, they self-start. You know, they take the initiative. They come in 6:45 every morning, and they just go right to work. They look at the board. They see what's on the agenda, and we, you know, every day we make a concerted effort to put on some jams that they'll enjoy. They'll have their requests: coach play oldies, coach play country, coach play this, coach play this. So it's really cool because it's about them. You know, it's about getting them energized and excited, and they're seeing it. You know, we lift every morning, with the exception of Wednesdays. We have yoga, and again, that's for them to find that balance, not only physically but mentally, because it's a grind.
When did yoga become a part of the routine? Because that's actually something I've heard for the first time.
For about a month now.
Okay, how's that going?
It's great. You know, I take the attendance and I walk out and it's all them. We have our yoga instructor that comes in on Wednesday morning and just lights the candles, gets them right. I think they look forward to it. It's a break in the week. It's that Wednesday kind of getting over the hump, you know, but for them, more importantly, we push them so hard. So we try to find every opportunity to kind of change it up and get these guys, again, one more opportunity for them to come together and just do something different.
Let's stick with the fun stuff now. I'm curious, if one guy on the team or a coach was going to have a reality TV show, who would you pick?
I'd pick CJ Hopkins, most definitely.
All right, we got to know why.
CJ, one day he'll be good, one day he'll be bad, so it'd be funny to see what his real life would be.
The fluctuations.
Yeah.
That's good.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I got a coach. Coach Ortiz would be a good reality TV show. He has a lot of emotions.
Sticking with TV show, who's most likely to be on Dancing with the Stars?
Dancing with the Stars.
That's my favorite show.
Pat Villa, Patricio Villa. He's a good dancer.
Could go all the way.
Yeah,
He's
a younger guy, junior. He's a good dancer.
All right, who's got the best drip on the team?
Best drip. I'd say Jamal Young has to be.
What kind of stuff is he showing up to school wearing?
I mean, Jamal, he always has those vintage T-shirts, you know, all the crazy styles, but I like it.
Welcome back to Bleacher Talk. I'm Jordan Spurgeon alongside Claudia Collins, and it's time for Social Spotlight. We're still here in the Marcos Niza weight room. Eliav, goodbye. Bringing back the fist pumps here. You're back from your trip and already out here scouring the internet for all our social media stuff, right?
Come on, it's the best time to do it, obviously, middle of the week, and we got stuff from last week, this week, high school, college. We're jumping all over the place, but let's start with right here because we are here at Marcos de Niza. They're shouting out, obviously, good mentality and character matters. That is their biggest thing. Congrats to Austin and Aiden. We just want to give a little shout out because, you know what, character does matter, and it matters here at Bleacher Talk too, or on Bleacher Talk too. So shout out to those guys, and we are at Marcos de Niza, so might as well.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm really excited to see how they play this upcoming week, breaking in the home field as we just discussed in our last interview. But definitely some recognition, always appreciated.
It's been a busy news week too here in the Valley. I know you got some stuff to talk about there as well, right?
Yes, obviously a very, very busy news week all over the place in the Valley, namely Arizona State, obviously Herm Edwards out the door, but Sean Aguano, shout out Chandler, is in the door and is going to take over as interim head coach. So just chilly, giving him a shout out. Arizona high school football in general rejoicing with that decision.
Yeah, and I spoke to many coaches from across the Valley and got their thoughts on Aguano, and it's funny because even the Hamilton High School head football coach had nothing but kind things to say, and let's think about it. I mean, that is one of the biggest rivalries, if not the biggest rivalry in the state, and to still say good things about a coach that like basically turned Chandler into what they are today, and compliment him and tell him, yeah, he's the guy for the job. I'm very excited to see how this turns out for the Arizona football community and for recruiting and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, and doubling down on that, I mean, the last few years, I'd seen him a couple times on sidelines. I remember a Basha Highland game last year, but in his opening press conference, he made it very clear multiple times. He'll be out every Friday night across the entire state. He knows he has the interim tag for now, but he obviously wants to keep that job. But part of that for him is bringing back the Arizona in-state recruiting, and he'll be out there on the sidelines.
Which has been problematic.
So we'll run into him.
It has been problematic.
Yeah, so we'll be running
time.
into Coach Iguano, but I know coaches are very happy to see him across the state.
Yeah, and we will chat with him when we do. Don't worry, we got you. We got you all. And yes, of course, shout out to Coach Iguano. But staying with the college football, Nico Marchiol over at WVU, the Mountaineers, and he's getting his first touchdown. I know Claudia is psyched about that, but overall, Hamilton product, you got to be happy for him. And shout out, obviously, to the Mountaineers Twitter for shouting him out, because we love that and we appreciate that.
100%. And yeah, as you know, if you have watched anything Bleacher Talk or anything with Nico last year, my family that I married into is all West Virginia. My father-in-law played football at West Virginia. Everyone except for my husband basically went to West Virginia. And so our phones were getting blown up like, Nico's in the game, you've got to turn it on, because we were kind of like, this game's going to be a blowout, so we're not going to watch it. But as soon as we found out Nico was playing, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to see how this plays out. So very excited for him and for the future of the Mountaineers in his hands, hopefully.
Take me home. One of the best moments on Sports 360.
You won't catch me singing again. I heard
that was all I got.
I heard my voice when it got retweeted last year, and I was like, yes, I will never be singing on camera ever again. So we'll leave that to you.
One hit wonder that's going to be topping the charts for years. There's no doubt about it. But that's all I got.
Eliav, as always, we love having you join us for Social Spotlight. You've been an awesome addition, scouring the internet. It's amazing. So thank you very much. And thank you so much for tuning into Bleacher Talk. We'll catch you next week.